Hey, welcome back to Two Stall Garage. Today, well, we've got the Jeep Liberty in the shop again. This thing is a never-ending problem, but we did put 10,000 miles on it, took it down to Florida and back, so we really can't complain. Anyways, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate you watching us work on this Jeep Liberty all the time. So let's get started. If you've got a Jeep Liberty, CRD that is, you're gonna wanna go ahead and get used to sasquatchparts.com. You can find stuff elsewhere too, but these guys got a lot of parts. So here we've got a fuel return bridge. Ours broke. I put out a little short video showing that the male piece of the bridge busted. And just wanna show you. Part is not cheap. I think it was about $125 to $130. Very simple piece. Let's see if I can find a part number for you. I'll just link it in the description. Made in Italy. Get it out of the package here for you. There it is. This looks fancy. Should be pretty easy to replace depending on where this goes. But this is the piece that busted. The fuel return line got hard, it was leaking. I cut it, tried to put it back on. This part was brittle, busted right off. So our goal is to put it back on without breaking this one apart too. All right, let's get this all cleaned up. Okay, now that we're cleaned up, let's go ahead and light up the engine bay. I'm gonna put a link for this in the description too. Link might have changed if this video is old by now, but maybe not. Whoa, threw right in my eyes there. Works really good. It was about $35. And lights up real good. Hopefully it's not doing one of them flashing scenarios where you can see it, the refresh rate. So this looks like it's just gonna snap right in. So we'll see how easy it is to get apart. All right, so the part's right down here. I just gotta see where it runs to. Let's see. It's got a few different connection points. You guys probably can't see the greatest right now, but looks like it's going right underneath. Let's see how far. Okay, well, all right. It actually wraps right around down here, right behind the alternator, if I'm seeing it right, and I believe I am. So with that said, I'm gonna have to take the alternator off. I think I can leave the EGR valve on. The EGR delete tube anyways, since we have a delete. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the alternator off and then we'll keep moving forward. Okay, now that we've got the alternator out of the way, you can see it right down in here. Here's the other part of the line. Starts back here. We've got a little hose clamp to take off right there. I'm gonna get you in for a closer look right now. How about you, Moose? Do you want a closer look? Nah. All right, let's get our little light here for us. Fire that up. You can see it right there. Let's see here. I'll just put my finger on it. See if that will help. Right here. It is. So this is the end. It's going to match up with this end right here. So let's go ahead and get that off of there. Once I do that, I'm going to come right up in here. And you can see there's a hose clamp right at the end of this line right there. Right here. So I got to take that off and then we're in business. We should be able to wrap this part around, put it back on, hook up our hoses, fire it back up and be back in business once again. Look at this, the garage door snapped the other day, the spring, and that's where the busted part went. Look at that, got the flashlight back. Let's see how this comes off. I can't really tell, but I would think you just press on those and you pull it out. So that's what we're gonna do. Give that a shot. I also had to disconnect one glow plug wire. So just to get that, so I'm not pushing on it. There's not a lot of space here, and you got this, it comes right from the injection pump right down here, right up into the common rail. So we need to be careful we don't put pressure against that. All right, there we go. It came right off. Definitely just got to push in. So we're loose. And now we're gonna get this little hose clamp off. Grab our itty bitty wrench. We're gonna try number 8. Don't drop it, okay? You'll thank me later. It's smaller than that even. Let's try a 7. It's smaller than a 7. All right, we're gonna use this little pliers type thing. We're gonna loosen up this other hose up top. We're gonna pull the whole thing out. We've got one hose disconnected, and we should be able to loosen this part up right here. Maybe. It's a tight fit. I need one of those hose pliers. Yeah, hose clamp pliers. It's really not on there too tight. It's just a return line, so I don't think it's high pressure. Could be wrong, but doesn't seem like it would be with the little amount of pressure that we have on these clamps here. Let's see if we can get this off. Don't break this, fellers. Everything's been on here for a good while, so slowly work that off. There we go. See if we can fish it out. Drop and feel all over the place here, but it's not a whole lot. They're coming. We try to go up and around. Try not to break anything. Okay. And there we come. Looks like this line's definitely been replaced at one point in time or another. And that makes sense. The vehicle's got about 300,000 miles on it. Here's our old end. Push in these 2 tabs and it pulls right out. Go ahead and take this off if we can. Well, I guess we really don't. Oh, you know what? You don't take this one off. If I pull this back, you can see it's clamped on there. It is fitted. This is the part that comes on that new piece as well. But we can definitely remove this. We're gonna have to use that again. Here's our part that was busted off. Male piece right there. And we'll have one more return line to connect up right there. All right, we got this loosened up. Off. Old piece, garbage. Remember to reference where this hose comes from though. This is on the slightly larger male end. Largest, large, smallest. Okay, here's your new piece. This is gonna go right on. This is gonna slide on. So we're not gonna have to worry about putting any Vaseline on it. We're gonna put some Vaseline on this. You should be able to use petroleum jelly. We wanna make sure we don't break that piece. I know it's brand new, but it's an important part of the system here. All right, ready to put the new part back in. I did take a little petroleum jelly and just put a little bit on each of these adapters. This one was fine, went on just fine. Tighten up the hose clamp. Everything's good to go there. This hose is still soft, so let's put this on. We're gonna try to fish it through without getting it dirty. And I think what I'm gonna do, I'll be right back. I'm gonna put something over this so I don't cake that up with grease. All right, something like that. Let's see here. Fish it down and around. This goes behind your EGR valve, behind the elbow if you still have it installed. We don't on this. And it is kind of a hard bend, but it's a tube, of course, so it bends, but it's just not a gradual slant or anything like that. Let's get it down in here if we can. See it coming through. This part is in. You're gonna have one orientation the way it lines up. See it right down there with the white-ish blue paper towel. So it's coming right around. Our connection is gonna be right over here. So at this point in time, I'm ready to take the tape off. We'll get it on the line here. Make sure we're not touching anything important or touching anything hot. Definitely had a little bit of grease on it, so it's a good thing we did that. Put that on there. You can get it off here now. There we go. All right. Put your hands around here. Make sure we're in the right region. And let's get this on here. This is just going to push right on now. See if we can hear a snap. There it was. Did you hear it? Awesome. We are on. Okay, so as it's in the engine bay, we fished it through like this. And this is how the new part is sitting right now, just like that in the engine. And if I flip it around for you, you can see it's got a little notch right here, or I don't know what you want to call that. But it's definitely a part where you line up and then it fits right in here and you got your bolt that goes right in. So just like that, one return, two returns, and the pesky one, we'll see if we have to buy a new hose for that. Top return line on. Good thing about these return lines is if you do get any sort of contaminants in there, which I'm sure a little bit gets in there, it'll have to be filtered again. Okay, we'll grab our little pliers here for our hose clamp, fuel line clamp. Slide that on if we can. And there we go. If we were for some reason to continue to have a slow leak with this, or anything absolutely that would interrupt our engine from idling, because it'd be detecting air, we would make sure that we get a new hose clamp on these. I think it's going to be okay. We do have to put one small hose clamp on one of the lines, I think. Maybe not. We'll see if that little male connector fits appropriately. Okay, I'm going to reach down here. We've got another line that's been disconnected. There it is. And I'm going to grab a little hose clamp because I'm going to put that on. I don't know if it had one before. Definitely don't see one in here now. Let me check the inside of the vehicle. Maybe I put it in there. 40-piece hose clamp assortment comes in handy. It seems like whenever I need a hose clamp, it's always for a really small line, and I don't have a small enough size. The smallest this goes down to is 1/2 inch. I'm gonna give it a try though. Oh yeah, this will be good. And that just fits over, and that's perfect. Let's go ahead and connect this up to our bottom return. This has a little bit of petroleum jelly on it, remember? If it breaks, I'd be a sad, sad man. It's kind of hard to get your fingers in here and push this thing up, so there we go. Tighten that up now. Just a little bit tighter. It's hardly tight at all, so we don't need to over tighten it on this piece, but we don't want any air to come through. There we go. Should be good. We've got 3 out of our 4 fuel return lines on. Now we are going to put this in its spot. We're going to use that little tab. That's what we're going to call it. We're going to call it a tab. Line it up here. Here's a little bolt that's 10. We'll go ahead and get this on. This holds your fuel return bridge in place. Now for this, you're just going to tighten it until your arm feels like breaking off. And that way the next guy will have to deal with stripped out intake. Don't do that. I think that's in place right there. There we go. All right, this is the tricky, silly one right here. You see that? You would think it would go on to that really easily, especially with some lubricant on there, but it's not. So, let's see here. I mean, it's not hard. Feels okay, that part. Squishy, you know. I should probably put my camera down, but I'm gonna try to show you as I do this. If we break this one too, oh man, they're trying. Stand by, Houston. Okay, I'm telling you, I'm having one heck of a time getting this to go on there. I mean, it seems like it would be so simple. I did peel back a little bit of the protective threading or thread. So I'm gonna put the GoPro down and we'll be back as soon as I get it on or as soon as I break it, and say a prayer for me that I don't do that. Okay, I've got good news right here. We've got it all the way down. The male connector is all the way inserted. So with that said, we've got our top return hose on, we've got our bottom return hose on. Both of those are clamped. Good, holding tight. This is very tight. It's not gonna leak, it's not gonna let go. Seriously doubt it's gonna leak anyways. So, with that said, let's get everything put back together. Let's get it all cleaned up. We're gonna fire it up and hopefully be back on the road for another 10,000 miles. Never know. Okay, we got the alternator back in. We're just gonna go ahead and put the adapters back on now, or the wire harness. Oh snap! That's not good. Why? Now I've done it. You get so close and then you drop your bolt, your nut. That will learn me. I've got the worst butterfingers. But we're gonna smile, just like the song says. I'm gonna fish for it too. I'm gonna fish. Bet it's down there on that skid plate. I'm gonna try to find it. Wish me luck. Well, I didn't find it. Thankfully, I have a spare. I'll try this one a little bit slower. This one's working. Don't necessarily enjoy losing bolts and nuts, so let's try not to do that. Put the cap on here. It's done. We've also got to put our plastic piece back on, and we got to tighten this down. So we got 3 little nuts. We're going to hold these on. We're not going to lose these, hopefully. There we go. Just hold your wire harness and protective case in its place. There's that one. This one's a little bit harder to get to. Probably use a little wrench for that one. There we go. And you're going to find if you've got more than a few miles on your Jeep, you're going to find that these are very brittle and they'll probably just break as you loosen them up. So there'll still be a little something there to hold on to tighten it down. You can just use that. Tighten them down with your fingers, then just give them a little turn more. Okay, one final check. The engine bay is totally clean except for our light. Get our battery back on. Return hoses are on. This is run through appropriately. It's not hitting anything. We went right through the same way we took it out. Just making sure of that now. Yep, feels good. Got our glow plug connector connected up once again. Alternator bracket is on. Here's a miss. I gotta get this connector on. Be our voltage sensor. Last thing we have to do is put the serpentine belt back on. Okay, I think everything's back on now. I'm gonna go ahead and hit the key twice. Just barely, just to make sure we turn here. Don't hear anything funny, and then we'll fire it up. See if it runs. Well, there we go, that's what we wanted. Turned over, sounded good, fire right up. We got a check engine light on, so we'll go ahead and scan that and see what that's all about. Sure, it has to do with their work here today. Okay, so just to show you this, we've got a fuel rail pressure sensor circuit high bank 1. Replaced fuel rail pressure sensor. And I'm assuming that's from our work today, so we're going to go ahead and clear that out. We're going to clear all the codes, actually. Yes, clear them. Moose is ready to go. All right, so let's read one more time. Make sure they're cleared. Not our miles. We're at 270, 263. And remember, we're probably right up there about 300,000. Odometer wasn't working for quite a while. Let's go ahead and get out of that. We'll shut the key off here. There we have it. It cleared, and we're going to take it for a drive down the road, but I got to get cleaned up first. As always, you got to get cleaned up before you get in your family vehicle, so stay with me. We'll be right back. All right, well, we're outside. Let's go ahead and take this down the road. Seems like we've been in this Jeep quite a few times taking it down the road, but it is what it is. You can either fix them, you can go get a different vehicle, fix that too, or buy brand new and have some payments, I guess. Moose is enjoying this. He's ready. Right, buddy? All right. Let's get going here. Boy, it feels good to have the Jeep back, I'll tell you that much. The Jetta's got 423,000 miles under right now, and it's got a short in multiple places, for multiple shorts. And yeah, none of the windows open for about 30 minutes while you're driving it because this relay keeps flipping back and forth. The door trim molding's coming off on back right door and doesn't close properly, so you got to push it back to close it. And you know, all kinds of not big deals that add up to a big deal. So surprisingly, there's only one light on that dash, and that's the airbag light. But we're glad to be back in the Jeep. So we're gonna speed on down to the highway and catch up with you then. All right, here we go, wide open spaces. Give it about medium throttle there. Get up to cruising speed. .65 mpHs coming at you. So we're gonna call that a win. Another day back in the shop, another day back in the shop with the Jeep CRD. If you like the content, I appreciate it. You're just hitting that subscribe button. Thanks for hanging out with us today. If you got a Jeep CRD, remember, it's gonna keep breaking, potentially. We've got 10,000 miles since the last repair was done, and it makes good fuel economy, so it's worth it in our opinion. Don't give up on it. Head on over to our Facebook page, give that a like if you would, to help support our channel and our little business we got going on here, our family business. And at Two Stall Garage LLC on Instagram. Hope you guys and gals have a wonderful day. See you later. Bye.